bizarre headline over the weekend that said Caps United is looking to sign 40 new players. And I was stunned, but not to be outdone, Dynamos have said at least 14 players are believed to have left Dynamos ahead of the new season. The Glamour Boys are rebuilding the squad and they have signed 15 players so far this pre-season after a disappointing campaign last season where they finished in 9th position and without a major trophy. Coach Tundarai Stanzandiraya has now moved to overhaul his squad, and recently Dynamo signed Soccer Star of the Year finalist King Nadolo, who says he is looking forward to a fruitful career at his childhood team, Dynamos. We caught up with Dynamo spokesperson Tinashe Farao, who spoke to us about Dynamos' transfer business so far. Let's have a listen.
What we are doing, our strategy as the executive was to ensure that we bring stability to the club, something which we have done during the 2019 season. We managed to bring stability to the club. There was no noise. We were pulling in one direction. We were clear on what we wanted to achieve and what we wanted to do. Our main aim was to steady ship, and we managed to do that. I think we managed to steady that ship in 2019. Going forward, I think in the last quarter of 2019, we then discussed with our coach what he wanted to do with the club. He gave us the wish list, the players that he wanted to work with during the 2020 season. So by October or thereabout, or by the end of the season, we knew exactly what the coach wanted, and we were going by that list of what the coach had indicated to us, that for the team to move forward, these are the players which he thinks were going to make an impact in Dynamos. We have done that. I think that's why you saw we were busy on the transfer market, going by what the coach has said. We have said to the coach, here's the team, and I'm sure he's happy with the acquisition, and we are happy also as an executive that we have managed to sign almost everyone who the coach wanted for the 2020 season. What we are doing as a club is to ensure that we take Dynamos to another level. This team is a rich history which we are not going to squander. We are going to make sure that we don't only participate in Zimbabwe, but we also participate in Africa. And I'm sure that's where we belong. This is going to give value not only to this country or to our millions of supporters, but it's also going to give value to our sponsors who have stood by us during the very difficult times.
Some brave fighting talk by Dynamo spokesperson Tinashe Farao, who says that the team deserves to be in Africa, and that's what they're looking at. They've done almost a complete clear out. 14 players on the way out, and so far 15 in. Bunj, you've played at the highest level. You've seen different clubs, different lands, different places. How does this grab you?
The talk is good. The talk, there's some fighting talk in there. There's an ambition talk in there. But the action is also not correct. How to go about getting back into Africa. I don't think that's the correct way to do. I picked up Pansy. We asked the coach what he wanted to do for the season 2020. Look, that's all wrong as it is. It's already wrong that they are just looking at 2020. In January 2020, they're looking at what they need to do in January 2020. The season 2020, they're now looking at what they want to do in January. They are looking at what they want to do in 2020.
It's too late.
In January 2020.
It's too late.
You get what I mean? And they want to go in Africa. It's like you don't get crashed into Africa that way. Yes, it's the big team. We know that Dynamos has got a very big history. We acknowledge that. But they need, as an executive, I'm sure Tinashe is listening, they need to go back and start doing things properly in football, build the correct structures for football, and have a target that maybe in 4 or 5 years' time, we want to be competing against Esperance in Africa. We want to be competing against such in Africa in 4 years' time, after we have done ABC. Not by bringing in 14, 15 players and they give pressure to the coach that we want to go back into Africa. Which players? Who? How? And all that. And by the way, ZPC, Kariba, they have also done the same 17 players. Caps United have done the same, 15 players. FC Platinum have done the same, 9 players. Guess Platinum, they've all done it. The whole team. So it's more about who accumulated more.
The most
or who,
players,
I don't
yeah.
know. Is it going to work that way? I don't know. So I think that the club that will start doing proper things is the club that is going to move a shift. You know what that club is?
Yep.
For me, if I look closely at these clubs, Chicken Inn.
Chicken Inn. Chicken Inn is the one that you think is the one to watch.
They've done the business of football properly.
We are likely to have time to talk about Chicken Inn before the season begins, but today we're of course talking about Dynamos Football Club. Pause, we heard Tonderai Ndiraya towards the back end of last season when the results weren't coming, talking about the fact that he didn't have the right material. So I think we should have seen this coming, that he was going to do a clear out and then sign new players, but 15 signed in seems like a hell of a lot.
Yeah, it's when you talk about a clean out, that's a massive clean out. But what is interesting that he seems to have signed players for almost all the positions.
Yeah.
They've roped in Patson Jori, the ex-ZPC Kariba duo of Tino Tender, Chione and Sylvester Apaya. So, look, I think when you say you're revamping your whole team, yes, I think it's, as Bunch says, it's a little bit excessive.
Yeah.
But at least he's showing that he's moved for all positions, because that's something that would worry me. That suddenly you would have 8 defenders and 3 midfielders, and the main thing in Zimbabwe football, and I say this time and time out, is that not one of our teams have an out-and-out goal scorer that can score 20 goals in a Premier League season.
Yeah, it doesn't look that way.
I would have loved to hear that the coach said, with these players, these are going to form the core of my team going forward. With these players, let's see what we can do in 2020. In 2021, let's sign all these players on a 3-year, 4-year contract. We keep them. I want to believe that the coach signed the players that he can see that they have got the future of Dynamos in hand.
Yeah.
So that we can go through a rebuilding phase in 2020, give this core of the players, then we can start looking at winning the league next season and all that. But this thing, 15 players, all new players, different positions, and then we say we want to win. Because let's go honest, when you want to win the league next season, you start looking for the positions that you want. You look at a player, you go for the player that you want, and you don't wait for a player that is a free agent. You're waiting for a player that says, I want to come to you. Then you say, we are building a team, and you're building a team of players that were free. No.
Well, there's a question that's just come through, and it says that how much do PSL clubs spend on the transfer market? And you've just answered that.
Zero.
In the sense that all these signings have come on a free, because teams in Zimbabwe classically wait for players who to run out their contracts, and then they sign them on a free. And okay, just to bring everybody up to speed as to what is going on at the Harare Giants, the Glamour Boys, you've got Godfrey Mukambi Maraba, who was the vice captain of the team. He has left. They have said that it's disciplinary issues, because he apparently went down to South Africa and played in a social game, having lied to the coach, and the coach said you can't play at Dynamos anymore. We understand he's training with Harare City. We're not sure whether he will get signed. Of course, there's the retirement of Edward Duduza Sadomba. He's gone for this season. Other players who haven't turned up for pre-season training: Claude Ngahan, of course, who's Cameroonian; Robert Saki, who's the Ghanaian who was playing for Dynamos last season. And then the following players have been released by Dynamos: Simba Nivi, Archford Gutu, Tawanda Macheke, Walter Yaya Sande, Edgar Mungu, Philip Kaseke, goalkeeper Stephen Chimsoro, and Simba Mupamaonde, as well as Viali Tadzoka. Evans Katema, of course, went down to Zambia. Nigel Katawa and Simba Chinani are in Russia on trial. So those are all the players that have gone out. If we read that list, most of those players were in the starting lineup of Dynamos last season, meaning that when Dynamos runs out this coming season, we're likely to see a Dynamos lineup that we haven't seen before, possibly with 1 or 2 players who played last season. What are the chances of continuity in that light?
Yeah, it's a completely new team, like you say, Barry. That's why I was saying these are new players that are coming in together. So for them to say we want to go into Africa, the coach said what he wanted for 2020 season. I see already that there is no plan for the future. They just want to think, this is Dynamo. We want to be at the top of the league. So let's get the players. You want this one. Okay, bring him in. And then they think that you just going to win just like that. Right. Football doesn't work like that. You gotta do the proper thing. The one team that is going to win this league next season is that it's
The
by chance. By chance, the team that accumulated maybe the better players and all that, it's hard to find. It's hard to figure it out.
It's hard to figure it out, but you got to say to yourself that FC Platinum will be there in the final shake-up. Who knows? Dynamos might just sneak it, given that they've recruited wisely. However, there's been a lot of defenders that have gone in there. You look at Patson Jaure, Steve Sylvester Apia, as Paz was talking about. Byron Mazokere is there, and then of course they've still got Tawanda Chisi, who remained at the club, and all those centre halves are still at Dynamos. It'll be interesting to see how they line up under Tonderai Stanza Ndiraya. Probably the most exciting signing being that of King Nadolo. King Nadolo, of course, can deliver goals. He scored, I think it was in the end, 11 goals, having arrived at the mid-season window for TEL 1, and he scored 11 goals. That is a proper signing that is exciting. 30 seconds flat.
Yeah, but the most exciting for me, the signing there is Chidoba. You know, the youngster Chidoba is
Tanaka
Chidoba is exciting. I saw him growing up at Prince Edward.
Right.
He is a brilliant player, and I think that they made a very good move. FC Platinum got him, and I don't understand Zimbabwean football. They actually released him on a free. Okay, how do you release a 19-year-old
on a free? That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Anyway, that's Dynamos. Dynamos having accumulated 15 players, let 14 go. They're getting ready for the season 2020. How it all plays out, stay tuned to ZiFM Sport.